Motivation Monday. Here we are every Monday morning. We bring you conversations from people like you, people who have overcome adversity in their lives, people who've gone through challenges and they've come out stronger. Some still through the process of the challenge and lessons they've learned. We also talk to people who are doing something to give back into the community. This morning we get to hang out with Esther Wagura. Esther, how are you doing?
Good morning, Pastor.
Karibu sana.
I am well, I thank God this morning.
Awesome. Esther is here to share with us her marriage journey, because there are things that she has gone through that she wants other people to learn from. It's, you know the way they say experience is the best teacher?
Exactly.
But not my experience. Other people's experience is actually a better teacher. Some things you don't have to go through them.
True.
And yet you have people around you who've gone through them and they're willing to teach you and to tell you, if you go along this path, this is what you will find.
Exactly, Pastor, because I think what I know now, if I knew it then, I think my journey will be smooth. And maybe the wounds that I developed.
Yes.
I think I wouldn't go that extent. So whatever you're talking, you are on point.
Great.
Yes.
So where does your story start?
My story started immediately. I said I do. That is when my life now took another twist.
When was that? When did you say I do? Which year was it?
I think it was around 2003 there. That is when I said I do.
I'm sure you're excited.
Very excited, like any other lady who had the intention of having a man. We went through the normal process of courtship, then into marriage. And I think after marriage, after my my wedding, I conceived immediately. Yeah, and I carried the pregnancy to term. But I think by then, during the courtship, we had a lot of friction with my mother-in-law. For the reason that up-to-date, Pastor, I have never known. Yes, I cannot say this is what I did. But later now I came to realize the problem, where the problem started. My hubby was a mother's boy. He was very close to the mother, and I think the family was depending on him, and the relationship between him and the mother was very tight.
Alafu wewe ukakuja kuingilia katikati.
Alafu ikakaa ni kama nimekuja kuwa threat ama nimekuja kuchukua upendo wa mtoto. I remember at some point my hubby asked the mother, "Mom, do you know," because of those friction, he asked the mother, "Mom, do you know, I'm now a married man. Whatever I was doing before, I might not be able to do 100% because now I have the responsibility." I have a family. Exactly. But I think the mother detaching from his son
was hard. I
think he never accepted that. And that is how everything went haywire.
Was your husband the only son?
No. In fact, there are so many of them.
Was he the first one?
No, he was not even the firstborn. I think he was the thirdborn, if I'm not wrong. But they were so close. And I think they were really depending on him. You get. So that is when now my story changed. I carried my son to term. During this time, the relationship is there, but very cold because of those friction. And after I gave birth to my son, I think at 5th month, my son started, he was teething. So the gum was swollen. I remember that. And because I think I got married when I was very young and I had not brought up any other child. So I remember that day I woke up like any other woman would wake up, prepare my hubby, and he went to work. But around 11 p.m. I started down seeing some signs from my son. The eyes started changing. The temperature went high. So I called the dad and I told him how the boy is behaving. But maybe I can go back kiasi. That week on a Sunday, my mom-in-law came to where we were worshiping back in Nakuru. And that week there is a brother to my hubby, mwenye mtoto alikuwa amelazwa hospitali. And my hubby and the brother, they didn't have a good relationship. So despite the child being admitted, my hubby had not visited the hospital to see the child. So that Sunday, Mom came to church, purposely to find out why have you not gone to see blah blah blah. I don't know. It became a debate. By this time the church is over, wanaongea after the service hivo, and it became a very heated debate. So we started walking. I was holding my baby on our way now to the hospital, so they are engaging the son and the mother, you know, ile mom, you know why I cannot do this. So we walked until the gate ya hospital. And so when we went, it was like, no, you have to go in and see the child. And my hubby resisted, and it was really back and forth between the mother. I remember at some point he took my son from my hands, and she used the words, up to date I have never really been able to understand. And she said, huyu wenu hawezi lala mahali kama hapa na akose kutoka. Those were the words. In Kikuyu now, I'm framing them from now Kikuyu to Swahili. And you know, they were very bitter words and painful words to hear them coming from a mother. So what I did, I left her with my son in his hands, nikaenda kwa barabara kuchukua matatu. Then my hubby, because of that pain, akaingia ndani kuona now mtoto wa the brother, then he came. So when he came, akachukua our son, akanikuta kwa stage, we went home. And you know, it was not an easy thing because you don't expect some words coming from a mother. And we encouraged ourselves and we went home. That was on Sunday. And on Wednesday, now my boy developed those symptoms of fever and what. I rushed her to hospital in a nearby clinic. When I went, I explained the doctor how the boy was behaving. And I remember he gave him 2 injections. And I asked him, why have you injected him 2 injections? And he said, 1, he has malaria. And this malaria, didn't see him do any test. The other one, kuleta temperature. But Pastor, instead of those injections helping my son to contain the situation became worse.
Oh no.
So after like half an hour, the condition deteriorated, and the doctor asked me a question, where do you reside from? I told him I'm in your neighborhood. So what he told me, can you rush back home, get some few clothes, we go to General Hospital now in Nakuru. That is what I did. And when I came back, the condition was not good. So I called the dad and told him what happened. And he told me to kutane hospitali. So we went directly with his car, kufika hospitali, kwa wodi ya watoto, mtoto akaenda amewekwa kwa machine. I want to rush because my story is all over. And instead of my son condition changing, after amewekwa kwa oxygen, after a few minutes, the nurses called me and they asked me, Esther, what did you told us that the boy was done when he was taken to the clinic? I explained what I was told by the doctor. But after a few minutes, Pastor, my son started vomiting things that were looking like clotted blood. And immediately when the nurses walienda wakamwangalia, they went into their offices. And immediately they called me and repeated the same words. Ulituambia mtoto alifanyiwa nini? So I explained, and I had them say a word like, it is poisoning. And after a few minutes, my son was gone.
Oh no.
So it was not an easy thing. So the dad came, he found the situation as it was. We encouraged ourselves and we went home, and we started another process of mourning and preparing for burial. But I can tell you, Pastor, the things that I went through during that 1 week when my son was in the mortuary, they were really painful. Because now my hubby had to inform the family, the mother and everyone. I remember when the mother came, Pastor, whatever I went through. Hakuna matusi siku anaitwa mtoto wangu akiwa mortuary.
Oh no.
Yes. You know, my mom was doing all sort of things. The visitors would come and wanikuta amekalia hii kiti kubwa, amewekelea miguu juu ya meza, wanaibika wanatoka. I remember even when my best couple came, it was so painful because she found her abusing me, calling all sort of names, and it was like, what happened, mom? Why all this? And it became very, very, very painful moment for me when my son was in mortuary, na ikafika wakati wa kumpumzisha, na akazikwa.
I'm just curious, when all this was going on, your husband was not saying anything?
He was, but now what would you do? Because even we have a father-in-law who was very, very calm. Wale wazee hawaongeagi. And I remember at some point my hubby, that thing was really disturbing him. And I remember at some point my hubby telling me, no, my dad was not like this. I don't know what changed. Because my dad is that person even when nyumba inachomeka.
He's
just calm. So there is nothing much he could do. So tukaanza maisha ingine. And I want to rush because of time. And we started another journey of mourning. And I remember after 2 weeks, the mother called my hubby and told him he wanted to see him. And he really requested, Mom, can you allow us to mourn our son? It is only 2 weeks since we buried our son. What is this that cannot wait for me maybe to heal, for me to be able to come and see you? But the mother knew you know, I don't care. I want to see you. And when he told me, I told my hubby, kindly, let's do this. We were going for fellowship near in their neighborhood, karibu tu na nyumbani. And I told him, tell him you will go on Tuesday tukienda fellowship. So what we will do, you go home, you leave me in the fellowship. Ukimaliza kuja tuenda nyumbani. That is what we did. We went. He left me in fellowship, akaenda nyumbani. And when we were done with the fellowship, tuka walk with the pastor kwa stage. Now waiting for my hubby to come, we go home. But when we were waiting for him, we saw him from a distance. Coming, anakuja anarusha mikono, the brothers are behind him. Wanamshika anarusha mkono. So I knew something is wrong here. So when he came, he started crying, akanihold, akaniambia tuende nyumbani. So we went home and he explained what happened. It was not a good picture. And there is nothing much that maybe she was calling him to do. Ni ile tu, Esther, nini, a lot of things za kuongeza uchungu. And I was married to a hubby who was very, you know, deeply rooted in Christ. Ni watu wenye wako wanacheza na salvation, because I remember even my maturity in salvation ili mature through him. And every time he was encouraging me, Esther, no, because sometime I was pushing me, can you go marry a lady that maybe your mom will accept? And every time he was telling me, no, Esther, I didn't marry you because of children, I didn't marry you, I married you because I love you. And every time he was bringing me closer, despite me pushing him away. So we started another journey, and you know, I always say, vacuum ya mtoto pasta, inafiliwa na mtoto. And I think after around 6 months or so, we decided, let's try again. And I carried another pregnancy. And I started the journey of carrying a pregnancy like any other lady. By then now I was working. And my habit was, because by then my husband was a businessman in town. So what I was doing after the office, nilikuwa napitia kazini na mchukua tunaenda nyumbani. And I remember that now I was at 6 months. So I left the office. Kawaida tu, I went to his place of work. And when I went, there were a lot of clients when walikuwa kwa kazini. And hapo kwa mlango, the mom was there. So wakati nilifika hapo, the mother was there, the clients wameflock kwa duka. The mom akaangalia, akaniona. Aliniangalia na zile macho za, I don't know the words that I can use, but in Kikuyu we say manyira. I don't know how we can put it. I was not able to do anything. I turned back and I went home. So I went and prepared supper. My hubby came. We took supper. But at around 11, ikienda 12, I started labor pain at 6 months.
Oh, at 6 months.
Yes. So he rushed me to hospital, a hospital that I'm very well known, in Annex Hospital in Nakuru. But pastor kufika hospitali, I lost that pregnancy.
Oh no.
And it was so painful because back in our mind, we knew where this problem is coming from. Macho zenye aliniangalia nazo na nini. So I lost a pregnancy. And when my hubby came now in the morning, we just went home. And it is not an easy journey. It is a journey full of pain. Because one, God gave me a son. You know, sile unaambiwa you cannot conceive, you cannot carry a baby. Ni mtoto unapata anaenda, and mysteriously too. And the journey again became so painful.
I can imagine.
Very painful. To a point now, even my hubby started now approaching the mother, Mom, why is this? You know, trying to find out, can we have peace? Can you allow us to move on? Can you allow us even to, you know, the fruit of our womb?
Was it your mother-in-law, she born again?
Yes, sana kwanza.
Oh.
In fact, I think she called her pastor somebody. So it became so painful, and we encouraged ourselves. Na tukasema, let's move on.
Yes.
And again, I think after 1 year or is it 1 year, 2 months, around there, I conceived again. Yes.
Let's take a pause there. Motivation Monday, we are hanging out with Esther Agura today. She's sharing her journey through marriage with us and some of the challenges and painful moments she had to go through, with the hopes that you will learn something from her story. Back to our conversation, Esther. So here you are.
Yes.
You've conceived.
Yes.
Number 3.
Yes.
Okay. What happens?
And again, at 6 months.
Oh,
because I want also to rush.
Same
yes,
thing happened?
Yes, same thing happened. And we met with her in a supermarket. When I was picking the staffs, who, you know, zile mtu anachukua mkate na maziwa. So I am at cashier kulipa. The next machine, it was her. And when I returned, she saw me, she looked at me with the same eyes. And Pastor, I felt baridi imenijaa kwa mwili.
Oh.
I didn't even call my husband, I went direct home. And at exactly the same time, after supper and what have you, I started again the labor pain. And hata before nifikishwe hospitali, I ruptured. Na kufika hospitali again, I lost that baby.
Lost the baby. What did the doctors tell you about this?
Nothing, even after diagnosing me, there is nothing they could identify. Nothing.
That is so strange.
Nothing. Nothing.
So what do you do from there? Because now this...
so when now I lost now the 3rd child, you know, things became worse, because you can imagine pain after pain after pain. So the family now decided, the sister and brother, to face her. They tried to look for peace. They were not able. I remember even my family. At some point, my mom came with my sister to, you know, looking for peace. And getting to know why things are happening the way they have, because iyo ni kifo. Even what I was going through is death.
It's death.
So, and I remember even when my mom went to see her with my sister, Pastor, hakuna award hawakuitwa na mama-in-law.
Yeah.
Yes. And ikafika ni kama imefika mwisho. And one thing, my hubby was so much loved kwetu. They were so close with my mother and with my siblings. You know, he had favor in our family, to a point that despite them seeing the pain that I'm going through, they didn't have confidence. Ile ya kuniambia, Esther, can you move out? You get? So, it became worse. The family tried in vain. Na ikafika mahali where we were going to church. The pastor knew, the family knew us very well. Called my hubby and told my hubby, can you go tell your mother, I want to meet her. Now, I want to use the grace and the anointing that God has given me towards this issue. I remember that day, my hubby really laughed and akamuliza, Pastor, utawezana? It was like, you go, tell her I want an appointment with her. And I thank God she accepted. And she came. Now she gave out a Sunday that she will be available. She came and we went. It was not easy that day, but I thank God. Finally, after a battle, you know, kurushiana maneno nini, finally my pastor stood and he started prophesying. He started reversing the curses and whatever any words that she might have spoken against that. And he started blessing us. And ikafika mahali sasa, akona, I think things are serious, akakul. And hapo ndiye alitubariki, akaniombea, akaombea uzao wa tumbo langu. And after that, I conceived because I'm rushing. And we were blessed with a baby girl called Shekina finally. And after we were blessed with a son called Benaya. And again, sasa ikakuwa, it's like the story ya watoto, Mungu ametupa ushindi pande huo. But you know, I think hakuna wakati shetani huwa anatuallow us to be at peace.
You know, sorry for pausing you, but I think what you said there is very important. Because, I mean, if Pastor came and Pastor spoke and Pastor broke any curses, any words that were spoken over you, and then after that you conceived. This was a spiritual thing.
It was very spiritual.
You know, sometimes people...
It was not a physical war.
It was not a physical war.
No.
And you know, sometimes people hear these things and they think, But your story is telling us this was a spiritual warfare.
Very
so
spiritual.
you're not mistaken. You're not thinking your own things.
Exactly. It was very spiritual. Very spiritual. So, na tukapata watoto, and but we were able to overcome, and we really thank God. And again, now we started another journey of bringing the kids. And you know what? The devil strike again. My husband, who was very good, born again. By then, amepata kazi in Nairobi here. And he had already relocated from Nakuru to Nairobi. He had a very good job, which we agreed as a family. When the opportunity came, we discussed, and I allowed him to come.
So he was here, you guys were still in Nakuru?
In Nakuru, but now he was coming every weekend.
Okay.
And life took another turn, which was a positive turn, but it was for a very short period.
Okay.
So my hubby was coming every weekend. Ikafika mahali now, coming maybe after 2 weekends. After 2 weekends, maybe a month once. And I started seeing other red flags in him. Mtu mwenye tulikuwa tuna communicate every day, communication started changing. At some point I would call him at night, I would hear mtoto analia, namuuliza huyu mtoto analia kwa simu ni wa nani? No, it is a neighbor's child. When I visit Nairobi, unauliza yule mtoto mwenye anaongea kwa simu ako wapi? No, walihama. So something was not adding up. And you know, to cut the story short, na yeye pia ikakuwa ameenda nje ya ndoa. And akachukuliwa na kaenda kabisa. And it became another again journey of pain. And we try to sort out those issues. And Makiu, during this time, I'm informing the mother, whatever is happening. And it was like we were together, but later I came to realize we were not together.
Okay.
So we tried all we could, maybe to talk to him and such. And I remember at some point, we had to sit down with our best couples. And what he told the best couple is, nilikataria Nakuru. So I had, I had now to relocate from Nakuru to Nairobi. So my coming to Nairobi 2013, I was coming to salvage my marriage. But thinking my marriage will work, the condition really changed and deteriorated. And instead of him now coming back home, what he was doing, because I came to realize, alitukombolea nyumba this pande hii ya barabara, and the lady he was with.
Was on the other side of the road. Oh my goodness.
So he never came back home.
So did he have children with the other lady?
No.
Okay.
Ni mtoto alimpata na yeye.
That's the mtoto ulikuwa unasikia basi.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and again, thinking that my coming to Nairobi will salvage my marriage, it never worked. So what he was doing, alikuwa anakuja mchana anaona watoto, then anaenda. Na ikafika mahali pastor akaenda kabisa. Na ikafika mahali I told God, give me the strength, give me the grace for me now to take care of my children, because now he's gone. What else can you do? Na nikakaa nimemsahau.
Okay. So now for you in Nairobi, what were you doing?
It was not uneasy, because me, I was a career lady, a professional lady, because by then I had done accounts and I was working in an office as an accountant. And my relocation here, mind you, I'm in a new city. I don't know Nairobi. Now, I don't have any work to do here. But now, because of the issue that I was going through, I had to take the job that I found. And pastor, I think in every storm, whatever God takes us through, despite the pain that we are going through, it is for our own good. Because I remember the job that I take, ilikuwa ya sales. A lady who has never done sales, ni mtu wa ofisi in a new city. And I remember that job was in a certain circle. And even when I went for an interview, the HR looked at me and it was like, Esther, despite you want this job dearly, you don't look like this job. But I told the HR, if so and so, the guys that you have mentioned are making it, why not me? But because of the things I was going through, and I had kids to take care of, and the dad has left us, I didn't have any option. And I thank God, because that job is what has made me who I am today, despite. And I took the job, so I decided now, let me focus on my children. And I remember that job, nilikuwa nalipwa 10,000 na nyumba yenye alikuwa ametuleta ni 12,000. I have a house girl, but God works in a very mysterious way.
Very true.
Because sometime how I was meeting our needs, God gave me favor in the marketplace. I was able to hack the market. God gave me job. Despite the small salary, I was able to earn a lot of commission. So God knows how to balance things.
I love that.
And mimi nikamsahau. But I think after 8 months, I saw a call, because when he went, I had gone through a lot. I remember I was making calls. Sometimes the kids want to talk to the dad. And instead of it, I was not calling Simia, the lady. I was calling my hubby's number. But the lady would pick the phone. Unatakaje na bwanangu? Pastor, not once I called my hubby usiku. Anachukua simu, si aniongeleshe. Nisikie whatever is happening in the bedroom. Such a torture. I went through every kind of torture until I surrendered. I told God, I leave it to you. So after 8 months, I saw his call. It was like, is it a mistake or what? Because I could not explain, because ameenda kabisa. I remember even before he went, and maybe I will talk this because of the people that are in relationship and they are heading to marriage. Because sometimes we take these vows so casually because we're in the mood of love. Nobody take these vows with the weight that it deserves. And I'm telling you, those vows, I went through them all. I remember at some point, because I had now a house girl who was witnessing what I was going through. One day he came and he was very hostile. And ila hali ya kurushiana maneno, my house girl took our video ya harusi. Akaiweka na akaiforward mahali pa vows. And she was very bitter. Akamuliza, so and so, no ulisimama mbele ya watu na ukatake those vows.
This is your house girl?
Yes. She was called Janet. Aliangalia akaambia Janet, Janet, I was just acting. Those were the words.
Oh my goodness.
I was just acting. So akarudi, akanipigia. That day now I saw the call. After 8 months I picked the call. Me, I thought maybe it was a mistake. Na akaniuliza mko nyumbani, tuko nyumbani. Natoka kazini na niko na makaa, nataka kuja kuwadropia. And I felt a lot of pain because almost a year. You don't know tumekuwa tukipitia wapi, tunapikaka na makaa, tunakulaga nini ama, you know, but because of the respect and the way I was ushered into marriage, I had given the husband a lot of respect that he deserved. So despite the pain, I was not able to utter any word. So me, I thought he's coming to drop the charcoal, then he leaves because he had already left. But when he came, I remember wakati walifika, the colleagues ndio walingisha makaa kwa nyumba na yakaingia. But when he came, he was a very weak man. I saw him nikashindwa, is it my hubby that I had known for years? And was like, what happened to you? Kaniambia, no, mimi niligonjeka. And I was so shaken, nikamuliza, ayu kagonjeka wapi? I would definitely imagine what kind of sickness. Nikamuliza, why you are hakukuwa na mahospitali? No, I was not able to. After that, nikasikia uchungu mwingi sana. I started crying. Nikamwacha kwa kiti, mimi nikaenda bedroom. And I can tell you, hakutoka kwa hiyo kiti paka morning. So when morning came, I woke up very early, prepare myself to leave. Nika prepare breakfast. I gave him breakfast. But after kunywa chai, akavomit immediately. So ndio nilimwangalia nikaona amechange. All over kwa yellow. And was like, hey, amefura everywhere. So nikamuliza, kwani was it this serious? So what I did, I called another colleague of his who was a very close family friend, and nikamuliza, so and so, where are you? Kaniambia aiko Nairobi town. Nikamwambia kuje tumpeleke hosi. We went to a certain hospital. They were going as a company hapa on Gong Road. And I remember even when the doctor saw him, was really shocked because he knew him, because mahali walikuwa naenda very frequently kupimwa juu ya kampuni. And kuangaliwa na nini, pastor, to cut the story short, ikaonekana he had cancer stage 4. He was admitted at Nairobi Women. Immediately after now, the doctor wakarealize nivo. Akapelekwa Nairobi Hospital, where we stayed for 1.5 months. We went home. Akarecover like 6 months. After 6 months again, he fell sick. We went to Aga Khan. Na hapo ndio walienda wakafanya open surgery, because in Nairobi Hospital they had done
what kind of cancer did he have?
Pancreatic cancer stage 4. Na ndio ilikuwa imefanya, because nimeruka mambo mingi wakati mamake alijua hivyo. Nilipigiwa simu nikaambiwa nimepatia the sun poison, sababu alimuona wakati wakiwa mgonjwa, ametani yellow, so nothing could change him to yellow. It is because Esther had given him poison.
The other woman disappeared?
I never saw her again
until
today. And we started another journey, a very painful journey, because ile machozi nilililia Kenyatta ilikuwa mingi. Sababu when my family realized he's back, na ile journey alikuwa amenipeleka, everybody kept off. My friends kept off.
So you are
his family kept off. I was left alone with him. And I remember wakati tulienda Nairobi Hospital, that day when I came back, I really cried and I was very bitter with God. And I was asking God very bitter question. How would you allow the same guy who has taken me through hell? God, me, I cannot be able to take care of him. And I was praying kama nime kneel down kwa kiti yangu kubwa. But you know, pastor, during that moment, nikaletewa vows kwa masikio. Zikakuja.
Wow.
And it was so painful. I was battling with God. Zika kuja. And you know, finally I told God, God, on my own, I cannot be able to take care of this man. Give me the grace and the strength to take care of him. And I can tell you, Pastor, I don't know how I managed, because hata saa hizi nafikirianga how I managed. Because the pain that I went through, Kenyatta nikiwa peke yake from this corner, because sasa ilianza mambo ya chemo after 2 weeks kwa chemo, after 2 days ameenda kutolewa maji, pesa ziliishia Nairobi hospital, ni mimi pesa ya hospitali, ni mimi, call it everything. Hakuna kitu sikupitia Kenyatta. I really cried. I was telling God, he has so many brothers and siblings. I wish they can even come, not waniletee pesa. Wanisaidie kumpush from one point to another. And it was a very, very painful journey. Very, and I say, cancer is so demonic because it drains you emotionally, psychologically, financially, call it everything. And to cut the story short, after 2 years, 4 months, he rested.
You took care of him for 2 years and 4 months? 2
years, 4 months.
All alone?
All alone with my kids. Paka watoto wangu, they were very young. Walikuwa wamejua the way the dad behaves. Akianza kutetemeka ni yao wanaenda kuleta duvet kumfunika. I was left with him and my church. Then, Divine Destiny. Him and the church. The rest mimi niliwaonea kwa mazishi 2015. My family, apart from my two sisters who came later, I never saw anyone. And he rested 2015, and again I stayed the status now to a widow.
Wow. How old are your children now?
My daughter now is 15 years, and my son is 11 years. But even when he was passing on, they didn't know even death, because I remember hata wakati wa kumview. My son came, he was very young, I think he was around 3 years. He didn't know what death is. Na wakati wa kumview, alienda, you know hapa panakuwa kwa kioo, kwa sanduku. He thought the dad, you know, is sleeping. And he shouted, he was shouting very courageously, Dad, amka! And it was very point, everybody kept off. My sister ndiye alienda kakaa na watoto wangu hapa, because now the daughter was feeling like, ikio naweza ingisha mkono ndani ni. They didn't know what death is. But I thank God, because God has carried us through. So I changed the status now to a widow. And I started another journey.
How are you doing now?
I can say now I have already healed. I am not in what I was those years. God has seen me through. It is a very painful journey, and it is not an easy one. Because also taking care of the kids after the death, and the person who is taking care of them is full of wounds. Na hana mtu wa kuwalk na yeye. It has been a journey. But ilifika mahali 2018, when I started sharing my story, I could hear people say, mtu akiongea huwa anapona. So me, I started sharing my story in the context of I will heal. But you know, I could share my story, and I still do. Watu wengi wanapona, I receive a lot of calls, marriage coming together. But mimi nikifika kwa nyumba, naenda kulia kwa nyumba. Until 2020 I told God, now you have to heal me. Ili wakati ninasema God, kuna Mungu mwenye huwa na restore. Kuna Mungu mwenye huwa na heal. I am a typical example. And I can tell you, I have seen God's faithfulness. God never left. He filled that gap of him. And I can tell you, life changed. I'm no longer in that story. I am a very different Esther, who stands up every day to tell anyone who is going through such challenge that there is God in heaven. And I always tell people, and especially those who are in marriage or those who are intending to marry, tusiwe tunachoto na hii hali ya upendo, come across a lady or come across a guy. Because there is nothing else we see during courtship. We only see love. I remember, Pastor, the only thing that I was keen about is you know, planning my marriage. My wedding. There is nothing else. I don't remember anywhere I told even my team, can you pray for my in-laws? Can you pray for where I'm going to? We don't remember that. Mind you, you are going to a very, 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 you know, strange family. And you don't know how the in-laws are. You don't know the mother. You don't know the father. You don't know the brothers and the sisters. And nobody remembers to commit that family to God. Nobody remember to, ask God for favor with those, the family that you are meeting. What we are carried with is about love and the planning and what have you. So what I tell people, marriage is good and marriage works. And those vows that we take, kindly. Mimi hakuna hata moja si kupitia. They are not just vows.
Yeah.
They are honored here and in heaven.
I must say you're a very strong and unique woman.
Life taught me to be strong.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I mean, Jamaa alikuwa ameenda, then he's coming back when he's sick.
Exactly, and you are left alone with him.
And you're left alone with him,
yes.
But you still took care of him.
Exactly. Kuokoka na kumake decisions si kitu rahisi, not for everyone.
Hiyo ni wokovu ya.
Not for everyone.
Hiyo ni wokovu ya ukweli.
Exactly.
Esther, imagine my time is up.
Wow.
But
and we are
thank
not
you.
yet done.
Imagine. But thank you very much for being the courageous woman that you are.
Thank you.
Even just the courage to share your story.
Sure, it's not an easy one.
It's not an easy one.
But I thank God for healing.
Yes.
That is why I'm able to now.
Yes.
Before I was really breaking, but now God has healed me.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you still in contact with your mother-in-law?
No.
After
even the family.
After the burial?
No.
They cut off completely?
Exactly. They had already done even before.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, it is my prayer that wacha iwe hivyo because the scar.
Yeah.
Is already there.
Okay. May God continue to use your story.
Yes.
To encourage others as well.
Amen.
Asante.
Thank you so much.
My time is up, my friend.
Remember.
You know, sometimes you go through things and you think, hey, and then you hear somebody else's story and you realize, mi sijapitia kitu. Kuna watu wamepitia maneno na bado wamesimama.
Sure.
They haven't given up on life. They haven't given up on God. I hope this story has been able to give you courage. Whatever situations you may be going through, there's a God in heaven, and He loves you and He cares for you, and He will use your story to be able to encourage others. Until next time, have a great day and God bless you.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.